Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I am Unix. So the Battle Pass 2020 came out and with it came new lore. So in this video I will be exploring the story behind Aghanim the Apex Mage, and I'll cover the other lores from the other new arcanas and personas in future videos. So what do we know about Aghanim? Well, we know that he is the creator of the Aghanim Scepter and the father of Rubik. And he's thought to have died, but from this summer event, the Aghanim's Labyrinth, we get to know that he wasn't actually dead, but was in another dimension all this time. And now he has brought creatures he made from those realms to this realm to test heroes to see who can wield the true Aghanim Scepter. And from these announcement lines for this event, we also learn that he studied dark and forbidden magic and became lost across the astral dimensions in an effort to create the Aghanim Scepter. So now let's dig into the hidden lore behind these obvious facts. So let's clear up the confusion of Aghanim's death first, because there are a lot of voice lines that refer to his death like,
"Is it true about Aghanim's demise? I've heard conflicting reports."
So why didn't Rubik clear up this confusion to the world? Did he not know that his father was in another dimension, or was he covering this whole thing up? I think he was covering this thing up. So why would he do that? First, listen to all these tones he gets from other heroes.
Rubik, you're no enigma. You're a sad little boy looking for approval. How's living in your father's shadow treating you?
Step out of your father's shadow, Rubik. The world awaits.
Your old man died a has-been, Rubik. And you? Or never was.
So as you can see, I'm pretty sure that Rubik would love not having to live in his father's shadow for once in his life and would have taken this opportunity to prove himself to the world. This is a possibility. So why didn't Aghanim do anything about it? I mean, his character shows that he's very full of himself and probably wanted to boast about this too. But he didn't. Maybe he did want to fake his death, because here it says he used dark and forbidden magic for his endeavor. So that might be the reason why he covered it all up so that nobody else would know about it. This might explain the confusion. With that out of the way, let's talk about Aghanim's Scepter, his most prized creation. Fun fact about the scepter is that it seems to be able to change its form to match its owner, which is shown in these cosmetic items. Anyways, every hero has voice lines when purchasing a scepter, so let's look at the more interesting voice lines we got towards it. One of them is Spectra. So she believes that it holds the power of the Ascendants, and these Ascendants are a group of mysterious beings who is only known by Spectra, and she also wants to become one of them. They speak in a unique language, which is probably the language that Spectra herself speaks. Ascendants may also have something to do with transcendencies. Transcendencies are a mysterious element, also known only by Spectra, and some of their behavior can be considered ignoble, as in not normal, maybe like the use of dark magic. This implies that the transcendencies are a group of supernatural beings, possibly the same as Ascendants. So basically they are interdimensional beings that seem to be using dark magic. Also, the unique language that she uses is only understood by Puck and Dark Willow, who also have links to Fae. And Fae is a fairy-like race that use dark magic.
Other people might not understand you, but I do.
Unnerving. I understood every word.
And the Spectre's item also mentions the Shadow Realm, which shares the same name with Dark Willow's spell, and ties her to cross the realms. All this fits the description of the creation of Aghanim Scepter well, so I think Spectre might be right when it comes to this voice line. Here are more voice lines of Puck and Dark Willow that shows that they have knowledge of dark magic, dimensions, and similar concepts.
Hatched on a frond of the under tree, I devoured leaf, stalk, root, and all of my sibs. Yet only halfway through this eon, I already hunger for more. I have been to Klajarim. They still speak of their relief at being rid of you.
This shows that she was born in another dimension and even been to Klajarim, which is the home of Faceless Void.
I want your father's secrets! One day the Faceless Void will realize this thing is missing, and when that happens, I'll turn it over before he has a chance to do anything about it.
This shows that Dark Willow is very interested in the secrets of the scepter and even stolen an artifact from Faceless Void, called the Klajarim's Hourglass, which is known to manipulate time. This also ties them both to Faceless Void, which we will discuss later on. Another interesting voice line for Scepter is from Juggernaut.
Scepter, relic of a fallen race.
He claims that the scepter is a relic of a fallen race. A fallen race? So is Rubik and Aghanim the last of their kind? Did their race die as a consequence of the dark magic used in the creation of Spectra? Wait a minute, isn't Jug also the last of his kind and from a fallen race? Oh shit, do you guys see where I'm going with this? What if Jug, Rubik and Aghanim, all of them were from the same race? I mean, let me explain. What if Rubik and Jug were from the same race of masked people? I mean, they both have masks. Juggernaut was part of a group of swordsmen called Juggernauts. It doesn't state that the whole race of Juggernaut is dedicated to swordsmanship only. And it is also stated that the Isle of Masks is one of many islands in a collection of islands which is ruled by numerous lords and home to various deities. And maybe one of these islands was home to the wizard kind of their race. This may also explain why Juggernaut knows how to summon a healing ward, which looks a lot like magic to me. So how did the Isle of Masks sink under the ocean? Here it says it's the result of terrible magic, and here it says it's the result of vengeful magic. Both these two words loosely translates into dark magic. This ties the event to some law in Juggernaut's immortal blade, the Blade of the Lost Order, which states that the Lost Order was an ancient school of swordsmanship that discovered the technique to cut through fabric of reality with its blades, which sounds a lot like dimension-related dark magic to me. But they feared the implication of such actions. The elders of the school burnt all the records, killed all the followers and committed suicide themselves, so the knowledge of rending reality would never be known. So what if Aghanim stumbled upon this knowledge much like Ureno found this blade, and tried to replicate the process to create the scepters, and this caused the demise of his people? This shows why it's so hard to replicate his work, like shown in the trailer, since he drew the knowledge from the Lost Order. Okay, if they're from the same race, then why does Rubik look more like Jug than Aghanim, his own father? My theory is that maybe crossing the dimensions have disfigured him somehow, giving him 2 extra arms and an octopus-like face. Because we do know another hero who has a face disfigured, and he is Faceless Void, an interdimensional being, and maybe Aghanim's face was a result of some corruption that he got when crossing the dimensions. I mean, he looks a lot like this Faceless Void set, and this set also have a weapon similar to Spectra. All this might be a coincidence, but this would explain the fact why no one knows about his travels, which is kinda questionable with interdimensional entities like Speedbreak and Void Speed have no clue about his existence. Maybe they just didn't recognize him because of all this corruption. This corruption is also mentioned in the Spectra version of Tiny that I showed before. Another possibility is that Rubik was an adopted child, and thus makes Ureno the last of his kind until Aghanim returned. You see, this might actually how Ureno looks like behind his mask, since this part of the mask might be covering something similar to this horn-like thing in Aghanim's face. Also, Jug also have a luxurious beard, and so does Aghanim. How do I know that? It is mentioned in this Cavern Crawl quest. I don't know how this beard would link him to Aghanim, but I'm just throwing it out there. Although Faceless Void isn't directly connected to Aghanim and his lore, he does have a lot of links towards him indirectly, like through Juggernaut, who worships some entities called the Faceless One and a Visage of Vengeance.
By the visage of vengeance which drowned in the Isle of Masks, I will carry on the rites of the Faceless Ones.
Which might connect Juggernaut's race to the Faceless Voids or even the Ascendants. But this doesn't have any solid evidence other than the fact that Faceless Void and Faceless Ones have similar names, and Visage is just another name for face. So back to the creation of the Aghanim scepter. So did Aghanim not care about the consequences of what he was about to do, or did he just not know about it? To find out about this, we have to know about his origin. You see, Aghanim was based on a villain. Yes, a villain named Aghanim, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, in the story Legend of Zelda. You see, Aghanim has clearly drawn inspiration from this character even down to the creation of his model. Although they decided to make his face look like Davy Jones for some reason, but he was also a wizard who used dark magic to break the seal of a corrupted sacred realm to achieve his goal, which sounds a lot like how he used dark and forbidden magic to cross the dimensions to create his scepter. So as you can see, he was based on a dark wizard, so it's not that far off to tell that under his smiling face lies an evil character. So maybe he did not care about the consequences that the creation of the scepter had on his people. Because if you look at his personality, he is a bit narcissistic by nature and seems to be grabbing attention from other heroes with similar personalities like Grimstroke, who also killed his people for power. Plus, with all these facts, it seems like he cared more for his scepter than he cared about his own son Rubik. Which will also explain the fact that Rubik is constantly striving to match his fame and power and have an imitation scepter, and probably started to learn magic through observing others, hence his ability to copy others. And those weird twitching movements that he makes with his face might also be a side effect of the creation of the scepter, but we'll never know. So finally, to answer the question, is he a new possible hero for Dota? I think yes, cause his presence have always been in the game through his creation, the Aghanim Scepter, and his son Rubik. Plus, the fact that his existence was proved in this event, and the fact that his icon of his most prized creation, the Aghanim Scepter, changed from this to this to this, does kind of confirm his arrival. Much like the banana item that was implemented to the game right before the release of Monkey King. So I wouldn't be surprised if he was released as soon as the current battle pass ends. Though I doubt it would really happen because the international would be greatly affected if this hero was released before the tournament. But there's a possibility that he might be released in the group stage, much like how Underlord was released. As for his abilities, I don't think he will have the powers shown in the event itself, as those spells are just spells that are already in the game with different visual effects like Sun Ray, Macropire, Spear of Mask, Time Walk, etc. The only spell that seems to match his theme is the spell in which he channels to create crystals targeting players locking one of their spells at random until the crystal is destroyed. This might be one of his abilities that acts similar to Time Dilation plus Phantom Embrace. Other than that, we don't really have any sources to draw reference from to see what his possible abilities are. His theme is that of a supreme mage connected to dark magic, interdimensional travels and such. So I would expect that he would be a combination of Rubik, Invoker and Void Spray, and definitely an int hero. So maybe he might have a spell that grants scepter upgrades for a limited amount of time like Tome of Aghanim, or something similar to the scepter shard system in the event, giving small bonuses to the heroes. But I don't think that would be the case because that would make him both OP and have limited versatility in the game. Other possibilities include some spell like Shadow Realm, the old Nullfield Rubik Head, or maybe a spell that increases spell damage for each kill he makes like Duel, and maybe even this unused spell for Omni Knight that reduces magic damage from enemies, which is an interesting ability to have and it fits right into Aghanim's theme. Well, anyway, that concludes what I know about Aghanim the Apex Mage and my thoughts and theories about him. So what do you guys think about Aghanim? What are your own thoughts and theories about him, and did I miss anything out in this video? Let me know in the comment section down below, and I would love to hear your theories and thoughts about the Apex Mage. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like and share this video and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more content like this. And so yeah, see you in the next video. Bye!